911 Season 8, Episode 6, titled Confessions, aired on November 7 and lived up to its name with several surprising reveals. While Maddie shares the news of her pregnancy with Chimney, Buck realizes that Tommy was once engaged to his ex-girlfriend, Abby Clark. Unsure of how to process the information, the hour sees Buck reflect on his current romance and concludes with Tommy choosing to unexpectedly end their relationship. One of the episode's most crucial conversations occurs when Father Brian runs into Eddie outside the confessional booth and asks him to partake in an activity that will evoke joy. Ryan Guzman's character takes the advice to heart, reenacting Tom Cruise's iconic dance scene from Risky Business and experiencing a moment of pure happiness. Guzman shares how incredible it was to film such an upbeat sequence, especially after everything Eddie has been forced to endure. The actor goes on to emphasize confession's overall significance and teases the firefighter's upcoming journey of self-discovery. Ryan Guzman: I think Eddie needed a third party to tell him, not somebody so close as the 118 or his own family, but an outside party to tell him, or even ask him the question that allows him to think about his own life and be introspective. His question to Eddie, "Have you done anything for yourself lately?" and Eddie having no response gave Eddie the answer that he needed. It was just, I guess, right timing for the character's Ryan Guzman. Yeah, I think this has gone on throughout his entirety of him being a Mexican-American and feeling like he has to be a perfect soldier, I guess, in essence, be the all-American type individual. I think that was what led him into just trying to people please, or trying to make everybody happy, and then do what's best for everybody else. 30 years later, however old Eddie is, because we never had a birthday party for him, laughs, but however old he is, he figures it out through this priest Ryan Guzman. I don't think he's known who he is. I think he's just figuring that, not even figuring that out. I think he's starting to ask the right questions. I believe that there's so much left to explore with Eddie. I think he has a generalized idea of where he wants to go, but I think anything you do new, you're not really good at it in the beginning. So when the priest asks, "Have you done anything for yourself?" he's going to try to extend himself and try, in many ways, figure out what that is. I don't think he's going to be successful, which is going to be fun to watch for the audience. Ryan Guzman: the shaving of the mustache, the sad thing for me and Eddie. Laughs, it meant turning over a new leaf, doing something for himself. It also insinuates the idea, and he actually says this in this episode, that he couldn't stare at himself in the mirror. He didn't want to look at himself. He didn't want to see a rendition of himself. If he could have grown a beard, he would have grown a beard. Him shaving the mustache is actually accepting himself, which is the first step. It's a great step for Eddie. Ryan Guzman, again, steps towards the right direction. I don't know if it's a full-on answer, but I believe that self-love starts in this episode, and we'll see what happens in the next couple episodes. Ryan Guzman, that is from the mastermind of both Kenneth Choi and Tim Minney. Tim has always been trying to find a reason to make Eddie dance, and I think him and Kenny were in a conversation, and Kenny brought up the idea of doing Risky Business, and Tim loved that idea. They came to me, and they asked me, "Hey, how would you feel about being in your shownies doing the Risky Business dance?" So no, it wasn't choreographed to answer your question. I looked at the scene from Risky Business and just did my version of what Eddie might try and do,